guys, welcome to Here Are Two Cents. It's your co-host, Allie. Cammie right now is sleeping back in America. And to fill in, our special guest here is Alyssa. We are going to talk about everything Korea, just our experiences living here. I'm going to interview her and get her point of view. She lives in a whole different city. So we're going to talk about our time here in Korea. So right now we are at a cafe.
We're at Tous les Jours. I think it's like a French name.
I failed in French. I did Spanish.
I did Spanish too.
So yeah, we're over here. We're doing the cafe life, and that is very much part of the culture here in Korea. So let's just start off with an easy question.
Okay.
How did we meet?
Okay, so we have mutual friends, and so we were planning a trip. It's kind of a thing where one friend knows another friend, and we're planning a trip. Anyway, we ended up going to Singapore, and we met in Singapore.
We did.
Yay,
so that was how we met, was one of our friends, Sasha. I knew her, and she was going on a trip, and I wasn't had anything planned for vacation. And I was like, "Hey, girl, what are you doing?" She's like, "I'm going to Singapore." I'm like, "Can I come?" And then you...
I pretty much did the same. Sasha told me she wanted to go to Singapore, and I said, "Girl, let's do a trip." And so then one of my friends also ended up coming too, and I think you knew my other friend.
Yeah, I met her like one time in Seoul.
Yeah. So then we ended up having a really nice time. But yeah, that's how we met, and we've been locked in ever since.
Now we're sisters, and then we found out we're both from Florida, so we're like,
and we
Florida
both went
girlies.
to the same university, so it was really
another one. Guys, it wasn't a coincidence. There are literally like three of us that this happened to. Different timing, but yeah.
Oh yeah, and Sasha's from Florida too.
So, when did you arrive in Korea?
I came December of 2021. No, I lied. I came November 2021 because of COVID. I had to quarantine, so I had to come a little early before my contract.
Okay. So I came a little bit earlier than her. Mine was August 2021, but like you, we left I think in July.
Oh yeah.
And we were in that lovely hotel in Myeongdong for 2 weeks.
The one I was in too.
You were in the Myeongdong one?
But I had a different experience.
The Hotel Sky Park?
I had the princess room.
Oh, she had the princess room.
I had the princess room. My room was pink. I guess they have different themes or floors or whatever.
Girl, I had a basic, so.
I didn't come during the main intake, so, I had like a weird off intake, so I didn't come when, usually everyone comes in like August or February, but like I applied through I applied through Epic, but we'll get to that. We'll get to that.
It's like the
it's a lot, but I came November 2021.
Yeah, and that quarantine life was real. I still get the flashbacks whenever I see that one snack, the chips. Whenever I see them in the markets, I'm like, oh my god, quarantine time.
You know what?
Or the juices. I've had every single one of those juices.
I think y'all were more traumatized in quarantine because there was a bunch of y'all. When I went, it was just me and maybe like one other girl.
Oh.
And because I came in December, no one like comes during the intake, so I think you may be traumatized. I was vibing. It was fine. The Wi-Fi works because I know when y'all were in there.
No, my Wi-Fi was working.
Oh, your Wi-Fi worked. Okay.
The other hotel, Sky Park. There's two Sky Parks. My hotel, the Wi-Fi was good. The other one, their Wi-Fi went down, and it was a whole thing.
Yeah, I heard the girlies were complaining, so like I didn't have those issues. I was vibing. I was watching TV. It was fine.
I was watching Love Island.
Ooh.
And I was getting into that. And then all the UK peeps, I was like, yo, give me another reality show from your side of the world.
Love Island UK is
I did the Love Island UK.
Yeah,
I was on that one.
I was watching Modern Family.
Also, I was watching some Marvel stuff. I did do Black Panther at one point.
Yeah, then I was also watching Mnet. Like I was watching a lot of Korean like dance show. I think Show Me the Money was on, and it's a lot of cultural appropriation on that. That was interesting.
So, what was a culture shock for you coming to Korea?
Well, we actually experienced it this morning. So, in the States, everything opens up, at least by 8:30, 9 at the latest, everything's going to be open, essentially. Yep. So in Korea, like I expected, at least coffee shops, like if I want to go get coffee on the way to school, like the coffee shops near me would be open, I would assume. But it was just such a culture shock that most are closed. And so this morning, same thing. We thought a cafe would be open because during the week it is open at a certain time.
8:30, yeah.
At 8:30, but they don't open until 11. And most coffee places don't open until 11, unless it's a franchise. But if you want like if you're a coffee person, you want a good cup of coffee.
Go to the local spots.
You want to go to the local spots. And a lot of times it's like more convenient to go to the local spots and have better everything. So that was probably the biggest thing.
Yeah.
That like the city doesn't necessarily wake up until like 11 o'clock. That's when everything is open.
So if you're an early riser, I'm sorry, this isn't for you.
No coffee for you.
You just gotta have either go to some place maybe, or Idia might be open.
Tours le jour.
Exactly. And you just gotta go to one of those spots. Maybe even Gongcha coffee might be open as well.
Do people go to Gongcha for coffee?
No, you go for the boba tea and stuff.
But I think
I'm not a coffee
there,
girly, so guys, I'm not the expert in that front. I'm the friend that gets the tea, the smoothie, the hot chocolate.
I need a pick me up today, so I did get a coffee.
Yeah.
So, but yeah, you have to go to like one of the franchises. But yeah, that was like the biggest culture shock, I think.
It's just the time.
Yeah,
like, if you want an early morning,
because you like in America, it's like rise and grind. We got to get up and get things going, and then we can go about our day. But if everything is closed, or like a convenience store coffee, if you're okay with that, but like.
The other thing too is like you can go to the cafes later on at night. Usually in America, the cafes close at like
6, 7.
4 or 5 is like, kind of dead. And here they're open until 8, maybe 9 if you're really crazy. But at least 8 o'clock is usually the norm. 7, 8, they're still going. Also,
it's not just cafes. It's like everything. It's stores, department stores, Daiso, like literally everything doesn't open until like 10 or 11. So.
Oh yeah, that's a good clarification.
Restaurants, it's not just cafes. It's like everything.
Yeah. So what's your favorite Korean meal?
My favorite Korean meal. Okay, so I have really, and I might get some little hate for this because it's technically not Korean. It's Korean, but it's like not. It's Korean Chinese food. But I recently have gotten an obsession with jjajangmyeon, like the black bean noodles, and so those are really good. And then also I
feel like it's Korean.
It is Korean because I think you can only get it in Korea at like a Chinese restaurant here in Korea. Just like orange chicken is like American Chinese food. You can't get it really outside of America. Unless you go to like an American, like a Panda Express abroad or, whatever. But so they have jjajangmyeon here. So that's like my thing. And then also I love a good triangle kimbap, a tuna triangle.
They're good.
My
tuna kimchi one.
Yeah, tuna, yeah. Also, okay, I have a couple. So also, I like tuna kimchi jjigae, which is like a red soup, and that one's pretty good too.
I'll pop up a picture of it so you guys can see some of these items. Yeah. But for me, my favorite is jjimdak. I love it. It's basically like noodles. You have chicken, vegetables all mixed in. It's either a soy sauce kind of base, or it's like the spicy like red paste kind of base. So it just depends on yourself. If you want it spicier, if you want it more
like
savory, chill, yeah. So I love that. I love kimbap as well. It's a quick and easy and affordable. The triangle one. Don't ever
not from the convenience store. Like from a restaurant, it's okay to get the roll, but like
from a convenience store, like if you're going to 7-Eleven or GS25 or CU, do not get the actual round kimbap. It doesn't hit.
It's not good.
The triangle ones, those hit and they fill you up.
They do. Yeah.
So
get one every time.
Those are like some of the foods I like, but then again, you get to experiencing some of the things here in Korea, like Chinese food. Or a combination, like a fusion kind of situation.
Oh, yeah.
Or you like see Japanese food, their take on it. Vietnamese food is here too. So it's really cool to just try the different kinds of food. Yeah. So let's see. What else we got here?
Let's see.
I got a list of questions because some people have been asking me online, and then also things that we thought like it'd be great to know if we were thinking about moving to Korea.
Right.
So, easy question. Ready?
Yeah.
What do you do here?
oh my God. I didn't really introduce myself. Did I say my name?
Say my name.
Okay, let me do an introduction. My name is Alyssa, and I live in Masan or Changwon. And I am an English teacher at a public elementary school. So that is my job.
How many schools do you have, and typically how many students do you teach?
I have 2 schools, which some people, that might sound like a lot, but it's actually not, because 2 days a week I go to one school and the other 3 days I'm at another school, and it's kind of nice to break up your environment, different coworkers, different kids. All of my kids are really sweet. I teach, 3rd through 6th grade, and typically I have about 25 students in each class, but my school's considered kind of small because each grade has about 3 or 4 homeroom classes. So some, Allie, don't you have 10 in each grade?
Yeah. So
That's
for
insane.
me, But we were just talking about this last night. We didn't even realize the difference. From my school, I have 2 schools as well. My main school, I have 10 first grade students classes, like 10 classes in first grade, 10 in second, and 10 in third.
And you teach middles.
And I teach middle school. When I say first, second, and third, think of this guys as 6th, 7th, and 8th grade if you're from the U.S. So first, second, and third, there's 10 classes about in each grade, and there's about 25 kids in each class.
Yeah.
So I have a big school, and in my second school, I only have 1 class for each. I have 3 classes for 1 grade. So it's not that bad. It's a smaller school. But yeah, my school's big.
Yeah. I have like a smaller school, or like, small, medium school. I do know some people who only have like 9 people in their classes, and they only have 1 class for each grade, 1 person in their class, but they live in like a very rural area. I still live like in a city, but I still, even for my city, I have kind of like a smaller school.
We are not in like the areas that, like, when you think of Korea, you're thinking of the big city names. That's not us.
Yeah.
You're getting our perspective of being in a smaller city or rural. I did do the rural life before the life I have now.
My city
I was like your friend with the one school that had 2 kids. I had 2 kids in 3rd grade. I had 3 in 4th grade at that time, and then I had 6 6th graders.
Because you're always lesson planning, right? Because you have so
I had
few
5
students.
schools at that time. Yeah, that was when I had the 5 schools, and I had every day was a different school.
That was crazy. I've never.
Yeah.
That is the most extreme case. She's the only person I know who's ever had 5 schools.
That is, for our program, is the most amount of schools you can get.
That's actually insane, though.
It really changed up my environment. Though I'd be like, I like this day. Oh, this day.
Yeah, because I have 2 schools. Most people I know have 2 schools or 1 school. 1 school is rare. I don't know anyone who has more than that besides you. Maybe I met like 1 other person and maybe you had 3, but most people have like 2.
Yeah,
that's
I would say 2, 3.
Yeah,
the rare unicorns of 1 schools.
Yeah.
I'm like, how y'all get 1?
I actually know a couple people have 1 school.
Really? And my intake, it was all of us had multiple.
Yeah. I mean, it is more common to have multiple. For sure.
Did you do any research before coming to Korea? Like, what was your researching,
I did extensive research, like extensive. I got on everyone's YouTube. I got on everyone's Instagram. I got on everyone's, I got on Google. I got on Reddit. I got on Facebook. And I don't even use Facebook. I wasn't even a Reddit girl before this. I got on everything, like any platform you could think of. I was combing it. Any problem you could think of, anything anybody complained about, I Googled it because it's my first time living abroad. Even on this side of the planet, I had only been outside of the U.S. to go to Canada or to the Bahamas, for a cruise or something. But I never had been over here, and I was just not kind of worried. And especially with U.S. propaganda, it can be it's scary. It's scary. Is it okay to go to these countries? Is it, do they have things that are, you just don't know. So I did a lot of research, and I'm glad I did, because when I came, I was like, oh, I read about that. Oh, that's not different. That's okay, So it really helped me be prepared.
Sorry, song.
Dance break.
I don't know Korean, but I know the melody.
Eugene's is a vibe.
It is a vibe. Sorry, guys. Also, my music taste is very much surrounded by my students. I don't know everyone else. They'd be like, teacher, what you like? I'm like, look,
what do you like?
What do you like?
Tell
because
me what you like. And
it's so funny because the older people that talk to, they're just like, I don't like the teachers. They don't know any Korean. Kpop is not their thing. So I'd be like, yeah, New Jeans, or Rise. Love them. To play the guitar song it's my thing, but I don't know none of their names.
Oh.
I just only know the group names. I don't get into the individual artists, except it's Blackpink. Blackpink, I know everyone.
Oh yeah, you went to see Blackpink.
I went to see Blackpink in Thailand.
Yeah, I was like, oh my god, I want to go.
You're like, Allie, where you at? In Thailand.
I saw that. I was like, this girl's in Thailand. And then you came right back. I was like,
I gotta teach.
Yeah. I love that for you. You were in Thailand. Yeah, I feel like music taste also. Like I didn't when I came to
like
Korea,
the Korean version music taste is a lot like
influence. It's
younger because of the fact that my kids are like, teacher, play this, play that, and I'm like, oh, okay.
Because when I came to Korea, I didn't know a lick of Korean. I didn't know anything about Korean culture. Like obviously I researched, but like I hadn't had much exposure to that before moving here. So when I came here, I didn't listen to, because most people, they come because they love K-pop, they love K-dramas. I just came here to vibe. I just wanted to like live abroad. I was, trying to romanticize my life, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And so I came here and I was like, wow, this is like so cool. But yeah, my kids, they put me on.
They put me on a lot.
Me and New Jeans,
was it Zero Base is now the new thing for my kids because they're young guys. BTS is not really a thing for these kids as much.
Not anymore. Like when I first came, they were, but like they're on our hiatus. And so when I put
they're all in the army right now. Like half of them.
When I put BTS on in the classroom, I was like, oh, okay, guys, let's listen to BTS. And they're like, no, let's listen to
I'm New Jeans, teacher. Stray Kids. I love me Stray Kids, though. I'm not going to lie.
My kids like 17, TXT.
TXT. That is huge here.
Yeah.
TXT is they're a thing.
They tried to make me pick like my favorite member, and they're like, well, what's your favorite?
Also love this, but this is also influenced because of League of Legends. My boys love this song because it's League of Legends. It's a League of Legends cover song. It's New Jeans, though.
Is it their new song?
No, it's God. The song is God.
I thought I knew all New Jeans songs.
But they did this, and this also, I mean, they were already big, but the gaming community now was like, I really love New Jeans because they did the cover of this. Usually there's been other artists, like Imagine Dragons did a League of Legends song. What's that guy that did the Small Town Road, Havana?
Lil Nas X?
Yes. Lil Nas X also did a song for League of Legends, and he blew up more in this market, the Korean market kind of side because of that. Okay. They know Imagine Dragons. I'd be playing like Thunder, Believer, and I'm like, this is before you were born.
They know the most random songs, even just like things, like some movies they know. Yeah, they know the most random stuff. They know like a lot of random media.
Yeah. All right. So let's go to more questions. Okay. Sorry for that little talk break, but we were just, vibing.
Little kiki.
Do you feel safe as a Black woman living in Korea?
Yes, I do, actually. I do feel very safe, because also as a Black woman, they tell you, like, oh, you're going to experience so much racism abroad, all these countries, like, people are scared to leave the U.S. or leave whatever country they're from.
Because of how we're perceived.
Yeah. Because, as a Black person, you have to take a little more caution when you go places. So I thought about that. I did a lot of research on that. I met people and talked to them, and every Black person I talked to before I moved here said that oh, it's fine. And my experience is that maybe you experience microaggressions or something, and it's not even usually it's not even intentional. Usually it's just something crazy, like someone just touches your hair, or says something oh, hip hop style, just or they call your hair reggae hair.
Reggae, yes, that is something. I told my students
don't say that.
Don't say that. I was like, hey, it's called braids, and I was like, this is twist, this is dreadlocks. I real quickly just showed real quick images. I said, do you know Bob Marley? Of course they know Bob Marley. I said dreadlocks.
Yeah.
This Ali teacher's hair, braids. And they, now they just say braids.
I did a whole cultural, and these kids are 3rd, 4th, 5th grade, 6th, and my 6th graders too. I did a culture lesson for all of them. I showed them different hairstyles. I told them about my history as an African American, and it was very informative, and they were so interested. Even their homeroom teachers were also very interested in it too. So. Yeah, but this was about safety, and yes, so I feel incredibly safe. There are microaggressions, but I don't feel like I have anything racist. And then in terms of gun violence and all the other things that we experience in the U.S., that's non-existent here. So I walk by myself at night, and at night as a woman, you always feel just a little uneasy. But here it's I still feel mostly okay.
Yeah,
you take the normal precautions that you would take, but yeah, I feel safe.
Yeah, I definitely agree with you. I feel pretty safe here. My anxiety is very much lower.
Oh,
so
back home,
it's here. Back home, it was here.
So here it's down
I'm very chilled out. I feel okay. Walking around at night, like she said. There's times when I'm walking around at 1 a.m. or 2 a.m. or midnight, and I'm just vibing. I'm okay.
Yeah.
it is safe here. Like the small things is just like, you know, people, like we said in our video, if you haven't checked it out, touching our hair or staring. But like when people are staring, I just go, hey, how are you? And then they go, oh, annyeonghaseyo, and they just start the conversation. And then they usually are just saying something about like, oh, how my hair is different, or it's pretty, or how, like, where am I from? What do you do here? They're just interested to learn about you. Like, we were walking and a lady stopped us, and she was just like, oh, are you guys sisters? Like, how do you know each other? Why are you here in Korea? And we were casually strolling to the cafe, like, you know, so it happens, but very just chill and calm here. You know, I don't feel like any anxiety compared to when I lived back in the States sometimes with like police, you know, and all that. It's sometimes, I didn't realize how much anxiety I had living in the U.S. sometimes. It's so and then excessive. Coming here, and it's just like, it lowered, you know?
And honestly, I could go on about that forever, but it's so like frustrating when you go back home, a country that you're like born in, and you see how like anxious you are. And obviously it's also because I think that we're not tapped in as much to like
the current climate.
Yeah, the climate, like the Korean government and stuff. Like we are more aware of what's going on back home, so that definitely adds to it. But like my day-to-day is still less stressful than my day-to-day back home too. So yeah, my anxiety as well.
Yeah, the work culture here is really intense, but for a foreigner, I feel like it's not as bad as it is
in public schools. Hagwons,
I feel like are different beasts. Hagwons are private schools, and you can apply that way if that's what you want to do. The good thing, the positive point I would say with going for a Hagwon is that you have more control of where you live. What our program was like a shot in the dark. You can put your interests, but they put you where the need is.
Yeah, I actually got the city that I want, but I think because my city is very like no one would put that down, so that's why I got it. And I also think that's why I kind of have like a weird intake because like I put Changwon down, and I don't think anybody would move there, but it's very close to Busan, you know, whereas everyone's trying to get Seoul and Busan. Mm-hmm. So me putting a city that's next to Busan, I ended up, you know, getting that. Yeah.
So why did you select Changwon? Because I put my province, because I had a friend that lived here and I knew he was in our province. I just put the province down. I didn't actually, when I first came. When I then transferred to a different city, I actually knew where I wanted to be.
So I picked my city because I had a friend of a friend. I met with her a few times, and she lives in the U.S. now, but she used to live in Korea. And she told me to pick Changwon because that's where she lived, and she really enjoyed it. So that's why
that's cool.
It was good advice that she gave me.
Yeah, you don't regret it or anything like that?
No, I really like my city. It's like medium, you know, because I don't think I'm a Seoul girly.
It's too packed.
It's too packed. People are rude. Okay, like it's very like, you know, big city, New York City.
Yeah, just get New York City vibes in there. I mean, it's fine. It's fun. It's a good time.
It's fun. It's a good time if you want to go out. If you want to do things.
I feel like it's more like I would visit. I wouldn't want to live. For me,
personally, me too. It's like concert vibe. Like if you would love the concerts, I definitely think like you should go there if you want to go to musicals. But actually, I went to some musicals in Busan too. So
there are also some in Daegu. I've been going to.
So you can do that stuff down here. But concerts, if you're a K-pop person and you want to come to Korea and that's like your motivation, then Seoul is where, because they don't really do concerts in many other places. If they do, it's really hard to get tickets. Mm-hmm. Like Hunger Games level.
Really, it's seriously like good luck.
Yeah,
may the odds be ever in your favor.
Like no, but seriously.
And then people go to
PC bongs
just to like get the fast internet to try and get these tickets. I remember one time I'm like in school, like hoping for the best. I'm like, come on.
Oh my god, I was trying to get the Bruno Mars tickets.
Bro, I tried Bruno Mars too. Bruno is popular here, but then my kids. They only know, but like
the adults know.
The adults know.
Yeah, the adults know Bruno Mars.
Yeah. What's one thing that Korea does really well, in your opinion?
I would say transportation. Being a Florida girly, transportation is like non-existent. You know, we have it. There is, you know,
it's called a car. That's all you can.
You know, you have to have a car if you want consistent, reliable transportation.
In Florida. Or in the U.S. in general.
Usually in most of the U.S., but, you know, I can only speak to Florida because that's where I grew up. And I think that here in Korea, like, it's so easy to get everywhere. Like, you get everywhere quickly. It's affordable. It's cheap. You know, you can take buses. You can take trains. They have luxury buses. They have, like, the nice part of the train. It's very nice, and I think that is what the U.S. can learn from Korea because transit. The buses, chef's kiss. I love it. I'll take a bus any day. And they're clean. It's nice. You don't have crazy people.
It's quiet, so you don't have to deal with like having like just everyone talking and you're like,
Yeah, everyone is very like nice and respectful and stuff. Obviously, like when you get on the public bus, you do feel people like touching you and staring, but it's not all the time. Usually people just mind their own business on the train, subway, buses, whatever.
But for someone who, like me, who knows a little bit of Korean, but I'm not as solid as you are in Korean, you can operate well in Korea with transportation very easily because there's English everywhere. Even in my small like town, there's some English, and yours too. And even in the bigger cities, there's always English in the bigger cities. But I'm saying like,
even I've been to like the most rural, like very rural cities, and they still have English everywhere.
So you're able to. It's very, very easy. And if you're using like Naver Maps, which is one of the systems that you can use for navigation, or Kakao Maps, which is basically the big debate. It's like Apple Maps versus Google Maps. Okay, here you have some Korea expat girlies that are like, I'm all about the neighbor, and then you got her.
Me by myself.
I'm like the whatever gets me there person.
Okay, I like both. It's a little tip. I think you should have both because Naver, in my opinion, is good for finding like restaurants or finding things that you're looking for. It's just easier. Kakao though, because I like to zone out when I get on public transportation. I like to just stare out the window and give you like a One Tree Hill moment. So I like to have a reminder that will tell you how many stops you have, and then you don't have to count the stops. And then
it'll just start buzzing your phone.
Yeah, your phone will buzz, or you hear it in your headphones, and it'll tell you like, oh, you got one more stop or whatever. So that's why I like Kakao Maps. Naver, I have to like watch the map and see where I'm going. I hate that.
That is true. That's the one thing I'll give Kakao over. But if you're also scared of like reading Korean, Kakao is a little bit harder to navigate because it's mostly Korean, whereas Naver is very much foreigner friendly in the fact that it's English based with like a little bit of Korean. But I would say download both because that way when friends send you places and send you links, because that's how we communicate, like, oh, come here, drop the pin.
Everyone always has their preference.
Yeah, everyone has a preference. So if you have both, then you're covered on whoever. Because some people will be like, oh, I have the Kakao here. And then you're like, oh, I don't have Kakao. It's just like, just download both.
It's always a jump scare, though, when someone sends me Naver. I have both apps, but I'm like, ooh, like, why would you send me a Naver app? Like, why would you send me the pin?
She's talking about me.
Yeah, like, I was like, oh, my God. Like, how do I get to your house? Oh, my God. Is this a Naver? Oh, I haven't been in this app for a little bit.
You're like, it's a little crusty.
It's a little, ooh, let me just it off a little bit.
Oh, man. If there's anything you would do differently now looking back about coming to Korea or living in Korea or your experience here?
Not really. I mean, in theory, I think I would have tried to know more Korean before I came, but given my situation when I first came, I was trying to get my master's degree, like when I came, so I was really stressed, and I I was part of a Korean group. I was trying to learn, but I had just so much stuff going. Moving here is so stressful. So not really. I think I did a lot of research. I think Kakao talk groups are really your friend. I met a lot of my friends on Kakao talk. Yeah, like I met Sasha on Kakao. I met like so many people. And then we met up. Like when you come to Korea, you meet so many people, and then you'll meet them once. Like my one friend, I met her one time, and then the next time we went to visit Sasha to meet her, and so it was my second time meeting her. We took a trip together to go meet another friend I had never met before, and that's like the sums of Korea's friendships, like the friendships you make here. So no, I wouldn't change anything. I think I really tried to make the best of the situation. I tried to keep an open mind. I did all my research. So I really, honestly, this was the best experience that I could hope for. It's even better than I could have imagined it to be. So
I feel like I've grown while living here too as a person. Oh man, I could do that. I solo travel for the first time.
Yeah, me too.
Out to a different country. I've done a solo travel here in Korea, and I'm like, oh, this is a little something different. Okay.
What country did you go to for your first solo?
So my first one technically was because of the concert. That was the only crazy one to go to Thailand. I went to Bangkok just to see Blackpink in your area, but they were really hard to see in Korea. It's very difficult. So I just went to Thailand and saw them real quick. But another trip I did by myself was Japan. I did Japan as well, which is very easy. It's a short flight.
Japan is very.
I would say Japan is a nice like solo travel destination where you can go to and like be okay.
Yeah, I think so too. And like a lot of people in Japan are super nice, like with helping you, like a lot of the workers and stuff.
Yeah,
so.
It's not as stressful, at least coming from this side of the world as a solo travel.
Yeah.
Thailand was a little bit further out from Korea, so like it felt like a lot for going for a weekend compared to when I do a weekend trip in like Japan. It's like, oh, that's not that bad, but like the 5-hour flight is like, ugh.
Yeah, I did my first solo trip. I mean, not counting what I've done here in Korea, but or even coming, because some people are like, well, you moved to Korea by yourself, but not counting that because you have a job when you come here, you kind of have certain expectations. But when I did a recent trip to Australia and New Zealand alone, and that was really nice. Like, I enjoyed myself. I stayed in the hostels, though. I don't think I'm a hostel girl.
I'm not.
Yeah, I learned that. I don't think I'm really a hostel person because you just meet a lot of interesting people. I met a lot of really nice people, but then, you know, there are a few people that you meet and you're just like, yeah, so, yeah, I think that has changed me too. I never imagined myself being like out and, you know, traveling and being, you know, this person who sees the world. Like, and it really, being here has really opened my mind up too. Like, there's so many different cultures that I wasn't aware of. Like, you know, just you're in your own bubble. And I know, like, Americans get a bad rep, but traveling, I realized that a lot of people are like that. Like, you know, you're in your community, you are aware of other things, but you're kind of more focused on what you have going on. And so when you leave that bubble, you get to like see other things.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah, I would definitely say just to come experience, keep an open mind, because you experience stuff and then you realize like how strong you are, how much you've grown, or how much like some stuff just doesn't bother you anymore. Also, maybe because I'm getting older too. Like some stuff rolls off my back too. I'm just like,
I don't have time. I'm here to vibe. I'm here to have a good time.
So what advice would you give to someone who's either considered moving to Korea or considering visiting Korea?
I would say just keep an open mind, do a lot of research. When you come here, like for example, when I came, I did so much research and I saw a lot of like black girls because, you know, because I'm black. So I saw a lot of, shock. I didn't mean to surprise everyone, just to drop that on you. But I did a lot of research and I found out that, you know, you will get looked at. You will, even in my interview for Epic, they asked me like, "Hey, are you okay if people stare at you?" Or
they asked you that?
Yeah, she asked me that. She asked me that. She was like,
"I didn't get that question."
Yeah, she was like, "It happens." Like in my interview, she was like, "Yeah, it happens. What would you do? Like, are you okay with that? Just so you know." And I'm like, you know, I've already done the research. I'm aware of that, which did kind of scare me a little bit because I'm like, if you have to warn me about it, like, is it a real problem? But it ended up being fine. And yeah, like so when it happened, when someone touched my hair or, you know, say certain things to me, it didn't bother me.
It's what I expected.
It's what I expected. And it wasn't necessarily a negative experience, but I know some people who didn't really do the research. So when those things happen, or they're like, why are these people staring at me? Or why, you know? So it's just being open-minded and just knowing like you're somewhere different and you look different.
Yeah. I mean, think about it. The country is like 98% Korean and 2% foreigner. So it's going to happen. And being in a smaller city, guys, there's been kids and parents who have told me I am the first black person they have ever met. And I love the fact that I'm able to, like, you know, bring aware that there's other people. And, you know, they'll be like, oh, are you from Africa? Are you from South Africa? And I'm like, no, I'm from America. And then they're like, wait, what?
Yeah, it's very interesting.
It's very interesting to get that perspective because they're like, wait, you're from America? I'm like, yeah, I'm from America. And then they go, oh, where are you from? And I'm like, oh, I'm from Florida. And they're like, oh, and I'm like, you know, the sun shines.
I just say Disney
Orange
World.
is Disney. I think Disney, to be honest. That's the first thing. But then I'm like, it's very sunny and there's no winter. They love the fact that there's no winter.
But
there.
You know what? My kids still always say like, "Oh yeah, teacher, you're from California." It's like I've told you a million times. I'm from
Texas.
Florida or Texas. They're like, but they're always like California. I think because I said it's like sunny and stuff, so they just think I'm from California. But I'm like, no, I'm from Florida. Remember? They say, "Oh yeah, okay." So about California, I'm like, okay, it's fine, it's okay. Like,
and then last question. Thank you guys for being on our journey here in our convo. Did Korea meet all of your expectations?
Yes, it actually exceeded my expectations. I was not expecting to really enjoy myself here. I wasn't expecting, like, I know it sounds bad. I was like, I'm just going to be here for a year. I'm going to go back home. It's, you know, Yeah, it's never just a year. Well, for some people it is a year, but like, you know,
the one and done.
The one and done. There are people who are like that, but this exceeded my expectation. I've made such a good community of friends, and I mean that wholeheartedly. Like, I've met you. Yeah. I've met so many people like that are just genuine. Like, I feel like lifelong friends, and
she stuck with me, guys.
Yeah, stuck. We're stuck together. Like, you know,
we are sisters. We stand together. We gotta do Barcelona. Yeah. But anyways.
So yeah, like this exceeded my expectations. At most, I thought I was gonna come here, maybe like teach for, and I'm not a teacher back home, by the way. Like I,
same. Healthcare. So anyone who's coming in who's like nervous about that factor, both of us did not start teaching back home in America before we did this program.
Yeah, I got my TEFL certificate off of Groupon, and so I paid like $30 USD to get the TEFL, and I did it, you know, and
the course,
yeah. I did it, you know, and it took me a little while to do that, and then I already had my undergrad, and my background's not in teaching, my degree's not in teaching, so this, you know, all I was expecting, like, oh, I'll get some experience teaching, I'll get to like travel around, I don't know, whatever, and I got here, and I've had such a great time. I've learned so much. My students are they're so cute. They're so sweet. You know, they write you little cute little letters. Like,
they are so artistic. Like they're very artistic. They are creative people, man. I'm like, how did you come up with this?
Yeah, they're like, they love to talk to you, and it's such a heartwarming feeling knowing that like Ellie said earlier, like there are people who was like, I'm the first, not even just Black person, the first foreigner. I had like someone tell me that I was the first foreigner that they'd ever had like dinner with before. Like they'd never had dinner with a foreigner, and I was like, oh. Like, because we're in a group setting, so I was like, oh, that's interesting. Like, I guess I never thought of that, because, the U.S. is diverse, so I've never, in my mind, been like, oh, this is the first time sitting down with this type of person. It just didn't occur to me, because, But this is like such a great experience.
For our program, if you guys are interested in a little information, we can quickly kind of go over it. You do need a TEFL if you're not a certified teacher. So if you're a certified teacher, you do not need that TEFL certificate requirement, because you already got the degree, honey. You got the paper, so you good. Okay. But if you're like us and you don't have a background in teaching, you need to do your TEFL. You need about 100 hours. Okay. 100-hour course. So just make sure your course is 100 hours or more, and you'll be okay. You also need to be from the 7 countries that they have listed on their website, and then we can pop up their website on the screen here so you guys can see that. One of the countries is the U.S. I think it's like UK, Canada, South Africa,
Ireland.
Not Ireland.
Oh, not Ireland.
I don't think so.
Australia.
Australia is one.
New Zealand.
Let's just do a check. We're gonna look. Please pause while your party looks this up real quick, okay? Because I'm pretty sure
it's like 7 countries. Yeah, so it's like
7
US,
countries.
UK, Canada, South Africa.
Okay, it is New Zealand. I'm sorry about that. So it's Australia, Canada, Ireland. I'm sorry, guys. I was saying that wrong.
It is Ireland.
Ireland. Yeah. I did have an Ireland friend. Okay. New Zealand, the United Kingdom, US, and then South Africa. Those are the ones. India is allowed, but there's some thing. I saw on the website. I didn't know that either. India is allowed, but you have to go through some hoops if you're from India. It's like a different kind of situation.
And also Puerto Rico, because it's a U.S. territory. I know that's probably obvious, but I just felt like I'd throw that out there too.
And then you just need to be able to have a degree from a university from one of those countries. So if you somehow studied abroad and got your degree in a different country, they will not accept it, I don't think. It has to be like a degree from one of the 7 countries.
I think if you did go to study abroad, then you have to prove that it was done in English or something.
Like your degree and everything has to be in English. And then that's really it on the requirements. You go through the interview process and everything like that. We both went through recruiters. So who did you go through for your recruiter?
So my recruiter was Corvia, and it was fine. So I went through Corvia when I came to Korea initially, and then I was applying for another city, and I went directly through it, and I got it. I got the city that I want. So you don't have to go through a recruiter.
You can do it direct.
Yeah, you can do it directly, and it's not really going to hurt your chances. But I was already in Korea when I went directly through it, but I think it's fine to go through because the recruiters are when you go through Epic directly, because Epic is technically a recruiter themselves too. They're working with like
education
with the Office of Education. So technically they're a recruiter. So it's like a recruiter for a school system. So you can go directly through Epic and they'll still help you. They'll give you like, oh, you should do this with your essay, you should fix this or whatever. But you can go through like another recruiter like Korea to help you with Epic. And yeah, they're really nice. They'll help you with your what's it called? Interviews and all that stuff. They'll give you feedback.
It's very much a personality thing and how you are like work wise, because a recruiter does help you kind of go step by step, and they kind of hold your hand a little bit. They'll be like, hey, send me this. Okay, now I need you to send me this. Okay, wait, revise this, and you need to revise it. I had Korean Horizon. Or is it Korean Horizon or Korea? Yeah, Korean Horizon. They were at the time the sole like recruiter like for Epic, like the official. They were at the time when I was doing it. They were the official. And it's changes. It goes back from Korean Horizon to Korea.
Okay.
And Alistair, amazing guy. If you guys do my recruiter, Alistair, he is A1, chef's kiss. He's on top of his game. He's very much a type A person because I was getting things like quick, from him. Yeah. And you did the practice interviews, like you said, and you do the submission of like your recommendations and stuff like that. And they just go through everything. But I've had friends like Sasha who just directly applied, went on the website, how many recommendations do I need, how many this, how many that, and just submitted it.
And you still get it. Like, I don't think it affects like where you go or like if you have a recruiter or don't. If you go through, oh my god, I can't talk. If you go directly through Epic, I don't think that it really hurts for any of your chances or makes anything better. But again, when I did go directly through them, but Sasha went straight through them before.
Yeah, but she also was doing it kind of late. She said she did it at the last minute.
That's fair. I did mine at the last minute too. So when I came, I usually like people do it as soon as the application's open. But when I did it, I kind of did it as they were doing interviews already, and then I applied within the state still. And so by the end, I kind of got put on like a wait list, and then I didn't think I would get it, so I applied again for the following semester. And then that's when I got like a random call where they were like, hey, do you still want to come to Korea? And I was like, I started a master's program and they're like, you got to be here in a month. And so then I had to like rush and do it, but it worked out. Yeah.
So I hope you guys enjoyed our little chat. She got to get going and I got to go too. But I hope you enjoyed our chat about Korea. And if you're interested in more information, just give us a comment on our social medias. You can find us at here_our2 and cents. So we're on TikTok, Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, YouTube. And then you can find our podcast on Spotify, Apple Music, iHeartRadio, Pandora, Overcast, things like that. So check us out. Again, it's here, our 2 cents. Here as in HEAR_our, the number 2 and cents. So HEAR_our2 cents. Cents as in CENTS. Okay, guys? So check us out. Don't forget to subscribe to the podcast and follow us on social media. Thank you so much for doing this interview and taking the time. So thank you. All right. So thank you guys so much for joining us and see you next time. Bye.